Today, people want to look richer than they are. There are a lot of parameters that measure them. One of them is owning a house. But in this economy, owning a real estate breaks the backbone of any lower or middle class. So most people depend on old family members to get a house as a gift or an inheritance. Have you ever considered what will happen to the real estate market when all the boomers die? Keep watching this video till the end and we will answer this question.
Looking to buy a home right now is facing a double challenge amid the Federal Reserve's efforts to slow inflation.
In today's economy, buying a house means crushing your back with increasing interest rates, availability, and high prices. It does not matter how active and updated the younger generation is, they cannot compete with the boomers in wealth. And well, to own a house, all that matters is wealth, not your age. Because of all these factors, the younger generation is waiting to buy a home. Also, most people with a home do not want to sell it all because of low locked-in interest rates. If somebody has a home and will sell it to buy, another house will have to pay almost triple the interest for the same house. Why will they do it? Although some financial strategies are built up for the younger generation to buy a house, such as a lower down payment with high interest rates, it will cost them more than the actual house value. It may look like these facilities are out there to help you, but they are just taking advantage. So, the younger generation is saving money and waiting for enough savings to buy a home. Also, youngsters not born with wealth cannot get a home loan because of ongoing student loan debt, have not progressed in their career, and between the inflation and down payment, they have no money saved even to pay off the down payment. Now, some might think that the boomers are the problem, but if somehow they were to disappear from the real estate business, the availability would increase. If you also believe that, let me burst your little bubble. Here are some reasons. 1. It is not like that the boomers are not selling their houses. They are not clinging to it, as most of you can think. The boomers mostly live in retirement houses, and the fees of these institutions have skyrocketed. To live in harmony in their old age, they must sell their home. Even when they decide to sell their houses, most people do not want to buy them, because the houses handled by boomers are not exactly in good shape and condition. Spending such big money and still having to spend more to fix it? No one is that dumb. 2. Another reason is that even if the boomers die, their children will automatically own the home. It can solve problems for their children, but not for the entire generation. This leads to concentration ownership rather than widespread ownership, which can solve the issue. Those who get homes in inheritance are most likely to rent them or keep them as investment property. 3. Affordability is also one of the reasons. Even though there is a slight chance in availability, it will not change economic conditions like job security, inflation, and wage stagnation. Interest rates will remain the same, and on top of all this comes government policies with their zoning laws. 4. Imagine if a young generation couple has enough money to buy it. Even if the house is in excellent shape and the boomers wants to sell it, can you imagine what it will be like? The institutional investors. You can be rich, but you can never outbid any real estate investor. Again, the younger generation bites the dust and cannot do anything about it. 5. The system always favors investors over individuals. The affordability crisis is a systematic problem seen in government policies that prefer only the investors. This is a prime reason the younger generation still cannot get a house even if the boomers pass away. 6. Now, if in any world the entire boomer generation passes away and only young generations get to have their house, it still would not solve the problem because day by day, the boomer population is decreasing and the young generation is increasing. Because of this, even if the boomers leave all their property, it will not be enough. 7. We all are very much aware of the term generation gap very well. The younger generation has different housing needs as compared to the older generation. Now, their needs would not come inbuilt in boomer houses. Needs like energy-efficient homes and living arrangements will be rarely seen in boomers' houses. 8. How can we forget about Mother Nature? Climate change and natural disasters also deeply impact supply, development, and affordability. 9. Geographical areas also play a significant role in decreasing the availability of houses. The older generations are most likely to be seen in rural areas, while the young generation and their jobs have nothing to do with rural areas. Even if the boomers die, most of the houses will be available in rural areas, which is of no use to young generations. 10. The new generation also are responsible for the housing crisis. They tend to marry late or not at all, which makes their entry into the housing business a bit late. Marriage comes with a lot of perks, including some financial perks that might help them in getting a home. 11. Talking about all this, how can we forget about taxes? We all can visibly see the rise in housing taxes. It causes a significant burden on homeowners, which adds extra expense on the homeowner, which we are sure our young generation is not ready for. Taxes cannot be removed from the debris of dead generations. 12. Urbanization has caused the move of a significant population from rural to urban because the increase in demand for housing and less availability has caused price hikes, making it out of range for a new generation. I do not think the death of boomers has anything to do with this issue. 13. Inavailability of land. Most of the desired locations are feeding capitalization. Malls, outlets, and buildings are being built daily. All this is causing land scarcity for the housing industry. Even the death of an entire generation would not solve this issue. 14. This new generation is indecisive and non-committal. They do not like the idea of being tied down. They prefer renting and moving on rather than being tied down to only one option. 15. Owning a house is just not it. Owning a home comes with maintenance, which scares the younger generation. For someone who can barely buy a house on a mortgage, how will they ever be ready for maintenance charges? 16. The increased cost of construction has also affected the affordability of houses. 17. Inflation and recession have increased living costs, and youngsters' minds are already consumed with the bills of healthcare, childcare, food, and electricity bills that they cannot even think about buying a home. 18. Lack of home ownership education. Most youngsters are unaware of home ownership knowledge and are not part of financial literacy programs. All this can ease their way into the real estate market. 19. They are raising rental costs. It's a trap of rental agencies as they trap youngsters into living in rental apartments for life, as with paying higher rents. They will never be able to save up real estate. 20. The high debt-to-income ratio is also one of the main reasons why youngsters are out of real estate. The invention of credit cards was for this specific reason. The young generation is indebted, not only to education loans, but also to car loans or credit card bills, which can affect their debt-to-income ratio. 21. Small-time renters like hotels and Airbnb hostels can reduce the availability of long-term rental areas, which directly and indirectly increases the rental prices of that location. It makes it almost impossible for youngsters to save up for home ownership. Well, all these points are enough to say that even though all the boomers die, it will not solve the issue of availability and affordability for the young generation. Small to nothing will change in real estate market when all the boomers die. What are your thoughts on this video? Are boomers the real villains of the young generation? Let us know in the comments section below. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. That's all for us today. I'll see you next time.